Yo, what's going on, y'all? Thanks for tuning into my channel, The Stone Mandalorian, and checking out my video today. And I'm actually going to be doing my first custom weathering on a figure, and I'm doing an OT character. I'm going to be taking a crack at Dengar here, and I'm just going to do something real basic just to start off. I'm just going to give him a black wash and a little bit of dry brushing with some silver, but right here I was a little off camera. This is my first weathering video, so just bear with me. But all I'm doing right now is just kind of lathering this black onto the white part of his undersuit. Just getting it real soaked into the cracks and crevices and stuff like that. And then I kind of let it sit for a minute and I'll dry it off. I don't let it sit any more than like 30 seconds or so. And then you can see I'm just kind of dabbing it, wiping it. And when you're wiping, you want to do it in the same direction. So if like you go down on the certain part of the figure, you want to try to keep that downstroke every time when you're wiping. Just gives a more consistent look. Getting down to the feet here, getting between his armor and stuff like that. I'm going to get between the legs and just make sure everything's nice and covered so it doesn't look weird or like super bright in certain parts. And I've seen a lot of there's a lot of other content creators and YouTubers like Landspeeder Luke, Commander Cook, Kamino and Customs. There's a lot of people that have done a lot of really cool, innovative things when it comes to weathering and like sprucing up your figures and put some extra paint or doing like different overlays and kit bashing some. But I just figured like me doing it for the first time, I just figured this would be a real simple way for me to start and get my feet wet. This Dengar is a fairly cheap figure right now. Now I'm doing the dry brushing, as you can see. And all I'm doing with this is I'm just getting a little bit of just barely any silver on my brush, and I'm just literally kind of raking it over all the corners and edges and all the raised areas. And it really does make it look just like paint is chipping off, like it's metal that's been scraped down over time, makes it look worn. But as you can see, I'm just kind of like tapping it just very lightly, like hitting the tops, the highest points of his backpack here. Just gives all those sculpted details more dimension, and it makes it more. It's a lot easier to see. And I'm just doing the same thing here with his heavy blaster. Just giving it a nice little black wash on it, and then I'm gonna go back over that with some silver. And same thing here on Dengar. I'm just kind of like raking, just choosing random spots and swipes to go over to make him look worn. And this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing this. I've been wanting to get into just kind of like customizing, not really customizing, but just doing a few things just for the fun of it. I've been thinking about it for like 3 or 4 months now, and I was out at Hobby Lobby with my wife, and I just seen the paint. I was like, you know what, I'm about to just go ahead and get me a cheap thing of brushes and some paint. I would definitely recommend going to your local hobby store because this Vallejo paint is like $7, $8, $10 on Amazon, but I got each bottle, this silver and black, for like $4 per bottle, so that's not bad at all. Just same thing, just like barely any paint on this brush, and I'm just kind of like hitting the edges and the corners of things, just kind of swiping a little bit. I think I got a little carried away on the silver here, but I'm still pretty happy with it. But with something like this, less is more. They're giving you a little quick look so far. And I have two of these figures, so I'll give y'all side by side of what it looks like before and after it's been painted and customized, weathered and stuff and whatnot. But it's almost like kind of therapeutic doing this, It's just kind of like, I don't want to say mindless or brainless, but it's just like really relaxing, and it's just kind of like you can kind of drift off and just have fun with it. And right here you can see I'm just hitting all the straps and the lighter colors with the wash, with the black. And you can tell in the beginning I just did like a little squirt of black, and then I just mixed it with some water, just dripped it off my fingers from the cup that I have there. And you just want to get all those little nooks and crannies nice and soaked with paint, and just spread that paint around. And I'll even dab it in water and like, kind of if I made it too dark, I'll dip my paintbrush in water and like go back and paint over, and it just kind of like takes out some of that paint. Here's some dry brushing on the rifle that I was doing. When it comes to weathering and stuff like this, you really can't do anything wrong per se, but like I said earlier, less is more a lot of the time. And here's a little mouse droid, Death Star mouse droid. I just figured, it's black, it's already got a little bit of weather on it, why not? Just to kind of highlight those details. Just trying to hit those high points and cover those edges. And I'm just barely breaking my brush across the lines. Like I said, I probably went a little too heavy on the silver. But, this was my first time customizing and weathering. So, just something, I definitely have a lot to learn, but it's just something to keep in mind for the future. I definitely think it turned out good. I just, it's weird how it gives that graininess effect, almost like the metal has been scraped off of the paint. And here's his blaster pistols, and you can see the top one is the one that I gave a silver wash to. And I slowed this down so y'all could get a real good look of side by side. And the one on the left is the one that I just painted. The one on the right is the stock archive Black Series. Like I said, I went a little heavy on the silver, a little bit maybe, but I think it looks really worn and cool, and it just brings out all the highlighted details, the sculpted details. And turn these around to the back. All the pouches and the holsters and the straps, all the more fabric pieces are a lot darker, as you can see. Look at the backpack, the silver. Like, it just really highlights all those, like, little fine lines and just the little details that you can't really see on the version on the right. But yeah, honestly, I'm really pleased with how this came out for my first time, like, messing around with this. I did go a little heavy on the silver, but I was just having fun, and this is a really cheap figure. This is a good one to start on if you just want to practice and don't want to ruin a figure. I say ruin loosely, but it definitely, in person, it just gives a way more real effect to it. I don't know what it is. But it just looks really worn, like on the legs, definitely on the chest piece there, and even the shoulder pads. And if you look on like his head wrap here, you can see all the sculpted lines of the fabric and all the texture. On the one on the right, you can't really see any of that as much. It's just like a white, bright blob a little bit. You can see some texture, but nothing compared to the one on the left that I painted. And here's a picture just to give y'all a still shot. A little heavy on the silver, like I said, but I think it looks pretty good. I'm very pleased with it. Just a little shot at the back here. Didn't take much, very cheap, very fun. Took me like 30, 45 minutes to do this. I enjoyed it, man. But y'all, that is all I got for you today. So I appreciate you tuning in to my first weathering customization video. I really do appreciate it. Leave me a like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I do a lot of Black Series focused content, but every once in a while I'll do some other action figures from other lines like Marvel Legends and stuff like that. But appreciate y'all tuning in. Like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Take care. May the force be with you.